right under left. No, that looks terrible. Oh, fail. Mangia, courageous cooking in a crowd kitchen. Is it still 2020? What a year. When I began my Mangia journey in February, I was making chocolates for Valentine's Day, and we could all hug each other and show each other love in ways we can't do right now. But guess what? A new year is coming. The high holy days are soon, and that means we're gonna kick 5780 to the curb and ring in a new year. And I'm gonna show you how to make challah. Now, for Rosh Hashanah, we usually make challah in a circle, but I think I'm gonna do some braids, and I might try a new experiment where I stuff some challah. The last time we made bread together, we made a biga the night before, which is a pre-ferment sponge. But for this challah, I'm gonna make a sponge just about a half an hour before I make the final dough. The reason for that is because we want the yeast to bloom and to start to grow in just flour, water with a little syrup in it, and yeast. When you start adding all the other ingredients that are in challah, like the eggs and the oil, it slows down the yeast growth. So this sponge will make sure we have a nice, active, light dough. My water with malt syrup in it is just a little over 100 degrees, which is perfect, just whisper warm. So we're gonna take, in a non-metallic bowl, here's my little ceramic bowl, our water with syrup, the yeast, and some of the flour. And this is just simple. You just mix it together until all the flour soaks up the water. I'm gonna cover it for 30 minutes and it's gonna grow. It's been 30 minutes since we made our sponge. Oh, it smells so good and it's so happy and spongy. So now everything goes into my standing mixer. But if you don't have a standing mixer, you can make your dough in a bowl, then you dump it out onto your floured surface and you can hand knead it. Warm water. I'm gonna put the sponge in first. The sponge is gonna fight me every step of the way. Eggs, you don't need to beat your eggs, just put your eggs in. What did your eggs ever do to you? Why would you wanna beat them? Honey and oil. I'm gonna mix together the liquid stuff first. Just give it a little mix, so that they kind of get all happy with each other. And then, this is the flour, the sugar, and the salt. Now be careful when you put all that in because, watch this, watch what happens if you put it on too high. It's gonna go all over the place. Nice and low and slow at first. I do it for 1 minute on low, 2 minutes on medium, 3 minutes on high, and that's how we get a really elastic dough. All right, my dough is just at the right point, but I wanted to show you how to do the kneading right on your surface. It's still very sticky. Look at her, she's beautiful. You're gonna push your dough with your hands. You can make believe it's somebody you're mad at. She is ready to nap for a half an hour. So I'm gonna put her in a lightly oiled bowl, cover with plastic, leave it room temperature for half an hour. The challah dough has been resting for 30 minutes. Come take a look. She's good and happy. Now is the time that we're gonna, ooh, plopped right out. We're gonna do a divide and pre-shape for our braids. Now I have a scale, so I'm gonna do a very precise scaling of each strand, but you know, at home, just eyeball it. You wanna make 2 braids out of this, you divide it in half, and then if you wanna make a 3-strand braid, you divide that half into 3. If you wanna do a 4-strand, you divide it into 4s. You know geometry, right? I'm gonna start scaling on my scale. I'll be right back. I am gonna pre-shape my scaled out dough into logs. Now, when we made focaccia, we liked all that beautiful air in the dough, but when you're making challah, you kind of wanna punch the air out. So we give it just a little punch, not a punch, a gentle tap. Be good to your dough. And then we're just gonna roll it up into a log. It doesn't have to be a perfect log. Keep it covered while it's resting. I'm gonna do that to all of these pieces, and we're gonna let the dough rest another few minutes so that the glutens relax and it'll be easy to roll up into long strands to braid. I'm making the egg wash to brush on the challah. It's really simple. It's just eggs and salt. I'm gonna do a pinch of salt, boop. And then you don't want to beat them like you're making an omelet, but you want to make sure that the yolks and the whites are well blended to each other. You can do this in advance and put it in the fridge. Done. All right, so we're rolling our logs to 12, I don't know, 12 inches, 18 inches, whatever. They're gonna snap back. We're doing this on a lightly floured board. If your board has too much flour, you kind of pick up too much flour and you can't really stretch it as well. So there's this kind of happy medium. And we want them all about the same length. It doesn't need to be perfect. I've got my 4 strands ready to braid. I'm gonna join them together by pinching the ends. And I've got a parchment-lined baking tray ready to receive my loaf. If you don't have parchment paper, just make sure you put a good amount of oil, maybe throw some semolina or some cornmeal on it so that the bread doesn't stick. And now we're gonna braid. It's been a while since I've done the 4 strand, so. All right, if I can remember this, it is right under, left, over, right, under, left, over, right, under, left, over, right, under. This looks terrible. Left, over. This looks all wrong. Okay, we're gonna start that again. 2 is the charm. Okay, right, under, left, then left, over, right. Right, under, left. No, that looks terrible. Oh, Jesus. My very interesting looking braids. Big fail if I was being graded on this, but who cares, because it's gonna taste great. So we're gonna let it rise, but before we do that, we are gonna do an egg wash. The way we get a nice golden mahogany color is to do 2 egg washes. One before you let it rest and ferment, and one right before you put it in the oven. My very unique braids are egg washed and they're under a little plastic. We're gonna let these ferment for 30, 45 minutes. I don't know how long, because it's when the dough is ready, we're gonna check it. I really wanted to show you how to make a perfect 4-strand braid, but it has left the memory banks, took a train. It's okay. That challah is gonna be delicious anyway, and I want you to be courageous and make your braid however it comes out. It's gonna be great. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take my extra dough and I'm gonna try an experiment. I'm gonna make challah poppers where I stuff challah with cheese, and also I'm gonna do some that are stuffed with chocolate hazelnut spread. All right, so I'm taking my extra dough and I've divided it up into 12 pieces, and I'm making little challah balls. So last night I scooped out with my little handy dandy scooper some chocolate hazelnut spread. I put it in the freezer and then I rolled it into balls when it was nice and solid, and then I put it back in the freezer. So those are my little chocolatey balls that I'm gonna put in my challah poppers. But then I also cut up some pepper jack cheese. So we're gonna try that, a little savory, a little sweet. Not together in the same one, 2 separate ones. I haven't done this before, so it's one big experiment. I'm gonna take one of my little balls, my little challah rounds, and I'm gonna stick the hazelnut in there, and I'm gonna cover it and pinch the ends so that it's all sealed in, and then I'm just gonna give it a little roll. One down. I'm gonna show you one with cheese, and then I'm gonna do them all and get it all going. Okay, let's see the one with cheese. Same thing, we're gonna take our little rounds, make a little indent in them, envelop them in your cheese, or envelop your cheese in your dough. Give a good pinch, then give it a little roll onto the parchment. I've got my oven preheating at 375 degrees, and I'm gonna egg wash these, cover them and let them proof, and then we'll bake them. I have put my second egg wash on my very unique braids, and I'm doing my egg wash on my little challah poppers. I put Parmesan cheese on the cheesy challah poppers, and I'm gonna put some cinnamon sugar on the cocoa, chocolatey, hazelnutty, delicious, decadent popovers. Popovers? No, challah poppers. That's what we're calling them. And now I'm gonna stick them in a 375 degree oven. In you go. Ooh, baby. And we're gonna see, I think we're gonna look at these in about 20 minutes. 20 minutes, we'll see. Look at them already. I'm gonna take this, I wanna take her temperature because it's really hard to tell sometimes if it's done just by looking at it. It needs to be 195, and you know what? It is 185, 188, 190, 191, 192. It's done! Yay. I can't wait to cut into these. Okay, this is the cheesy one. So good. Look at that. Oh my. No words. No words. Get away, mine. Well, it's been a wonky year and I made a very wonky looking loaf, but it smells gorgeous. Let's cut into it. Oh, beautiful. It's got a beautiful crumb structure. Oh gosh. Okay, I'm taking a taste. Just the right balance of a little touch of sweet. I'm ready to say goodbye to this year. Hello, new year. I made something brand new with these gorgeous little round challah poppers. You know, for the new year, we do things in a circle to represent the circle of life. And I think these little guys do that quite lovely, quite perfectly. Like Mangia, courageous cooking in a